Hello and welcome to the channel. In today's video I go out to a town that's not so far from where I grew up and shoot some 6x6 and night photography. And they're actually some of my favourites that I've ever done at night time, so I'm pretty pleased with them. I hope you enjoy the images as well. Please do feel free to subscribe. I have loads more film photography content coming out on the channel, including another one where I go and shoot some Portra in my hometown, and actually a review of the camera I've been shooting all of these images on, which is the LOMO Lubitel 1660B. Why do I keep calling it the 1660B? The LOMO Lubitel 166B, and Pentax 645 just arrived today. Not the lens, that's apparently coming separately. But yeah, super stoked to have this camera. It looks really good. I can finally shoot some medium format images that aren't just square format, so that should be super cool to do. Looking forward to doing a review on this and just shooting with it in general. And yeah, before I go, apologies for the kind of the graininess and grittiness of the video in the night shoot stuff. I was using the camera that I don't usually use just to test out its low light capabilities. Opinion, terrible. Won't be using it again, but hopefully you'll still enjoy the photos. And it'll be a nice contrast for the terrible imagery you're getting on the video camera and the nice medium format pictures. Cool, on with the video. North Devon, just doing some night photography on Portra 400 with the LOMO 1660B, 166B, still can't get the naming right. Just shot an image back there then, about f8, 2 seconds around about. Still getting used to night photography, so I'm just giving myself a bit of a leeway really. Don't know how much you can see, quite dark. So I've had to come back the way I came because I realised that I double exposed a photo, and when you double expose a photo you ruin 2 images, so I've had to come back and redo 2 images. Bit of a nightmare, but hopefully they won't turn out too bad. Yeah, so just finished up my last roll. Shot 2 rolls in total of Portra 400. Pretty happy in general with at least the inner workings of those photos that I was trying to take there. I had the potential to take way more, but I think I'll call it a day. It is like -3 after all. I'm wearing 5 layers, a glove, this stealth thing here, and a hat. And I'm pretty warm. It's just my fingers really. They're cold. I could go on, but I think it's best that I pack it in. I think the place that this camera really kind of shines is at night photography. I much prefer using it for that on a tripod. It's pretty good to use it for night photography. I've seen lots of photographers use this camera for night photography, and I can see why. It's super fun to work with. You just have to obviously bring a torch with you to check the counter and what you're shooting. So just finished up the shoot now, just come back, just getting the last roll out now. Have to wind this camera for ages. There we go. That's pretty much it in terms of the shoots I do here back home. I don't really have any other plans other than I was going to maybe do another nighttime one here, but I don't know if I will. I'm pretty happy with the stuff I've managed to create. I don't want to wear myself out. So I've shot 4 rolls of 120, 1 complete roll of Portra 400. I do have another roll that I'm a quarter of the way through, which is for a video actually, but I'm going to send all of these off now. Yeah, so that's all of the images, not too many, but I did shoot 2 rolls. Again, there was a few errors in terms of double exposing, still not getting used to that. I've shot the film 3 times now, but I think on the 3rd time I shot it, I finally got used to it and didn't double expose. And then some of the other images were just not enough light really to be let in. There was one I was hoping to get of the kind of the fence and the stars above it. I did like a 30-second exposure, but I think it needed like well over a minute, to be honest. Again, still getting used. It's like my 3rd time doing night photography, so still getting used to it. Definitely the light meter was handy, although not completely accurate. In some places it's kind of a bit too dark, but checking with an app was a good idea to do, just to make sure you're definitely getting it right, in my opinion. In terms of favourite images, I think probably one of my favourites is the one of the house on there with the sign by it. I just love that image. It's just such a cute little house, and the lighting was really nice. Second one, in terms of how clean it is and how good the exposure was, I'm actually really proud of how bang on I got the exposure for this one. Was the one of the door in the middle and then the window. Kind of a moody, interesting shot really, even though it's kind of close up. Yeah, pretty pleased with that one. And then maybe as well the big house one was nice. It looked pretty clean. So interesting story behind this photo actually, because I took 2 photos because I accidentally, when I was rolling the film, it like came loose accidentally for some reason. I don't know. My hands were so cold, so I must have accidentally dropped it. But it was the images should have been fine because the back was still on the film and it would only dropped like that much. But the first 2 images had some light leaks on them, but I made sure to do 2 because I knew that might happen. But the first image had a light leak at the bottom, I believe, and then the second one just had it at the top and the bottom. But I managed to work out a way to combine both of the images to get one without light leaks. It was really super difficult to do. I had to like line them up because the frame was kind of different as well. I don't know why I changed the framing, but yeah, and I managed to actually get a full-blown good image out of it by combining these 2 photos and mixing and matching where the light leaks were and they weren't. Yeah, but overall pretty happy. But overall pretty happy with the end result despite this. Maybe if you zoom in close enough, you might notice some discrepancies. Maybe some things will seem smaller or bigger, but to me it looks pretty good. I spent way too long on it, but yeah, Some people might actually like the light leak effect. It kind of looks like a bit of a ghost, but I went in fairly clean. Also couldn't decide whether I wanted to apply some kind of bloom to the windows or not. I don't shoot with a diffusion filter because they're kind of really expensive to get in the UK, so I kind of experiment with Gaussian blur and layering in Photoshop if I ever want to do that sort of bloomy effect. But I'm not really sure for this image. It kind of maybe looks a bit better sharp, but I'm not sure. So this photo was kind of there. I didn't really get the exposure correct. I needed to expose for much longer. I'm pretty sure I did a bad reciprocity calculation. I've got an app now, which is genius. It's such a lifesaver. Yeah, the exposure wasn't very good on this photo, so I just edited it a bit to look kind of cool, I guess. Not particularly happy with it, really. I had to crop it quite a bit because on the left side there's this huge white light coming from somewhere. I'm not really sure what I was thinking in terms of the photo. It's probably the weakest out of all of them, other than one image that I shot of a car with some cardboard over it. Just turned out to be shaky for some reason, even though it was on a tripod. I think my panning head on my tripod has a tendency to sometimes come loose a bit. But yeah, the other ones were okay. I actually got a pretty decent exposure on the arcade one for the first shot anyway. The second shot was kind of, I don't know why it was any different. I'm pretty sure I kept pretty similar exposure, but I guess I might have knocked something, I don't know. Yeah, there were a few other images that didn't turn out, but overall pretty happy at the ones that did. I'm forgetting, actually, probably joint first place is the one with the car in. Yes, that's the colours in that were really interesting, and different types of lighting from all of the windows. In fact, as an old people's home, you can kind of see in the window that it is as well. And that car was just really interesting, just perfectly placed. Yeah, I love that photo as well. I did 2 exposures of that as well, but I've just only edited one. I couldn't really find a difference between the 2 of them, so I just picked the one that looked best out of the scan that I did, and yeah. Thanks very much for watching. Again, subscribe for more content like this, as well as daytime photography. I do that as well, although I'm leaning more towards nighttime photography after looking at these photos. They're way better than my daytime shots recently. Enjoying Portra 400 a lot, in particular medium formats. I still need to shoot that 35mm roll that I did for a video for my hometown. I'm back here where I live now, but I still have a roll in there for my hometown, but I need to finish the roll in order to get that video out. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to do that, but I'm so engrossed in medium format currently that I'm forgetting where I came from. So I will definitely shoot some 35 in the next few weeks or so. Cool, and I think that's it for the video. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I'll see you soon.